So I have to start with the formal stuff because this session is recorded. So good evening and welcome, very warm welcome to all of you first-timers to the 42nd CALLERLAB Convention, Springfield, Missouri. Today is, I think it's March 28th, and this is the 29th. Today is March 29th, and this is the orientation session. I am Pam Clasper, and my panelist with me today is Brian Freed. I am not a caller, but I have been dancing for 42 years. And my husband Barry has been calling for 31. He is currently chairman of the board, and he's been chairman of the board for the past 2 years. So we get a bit of our life back after this convention because it's been a very busy one. But we've got a bunch of information to help you enjoy this convention, we hope, and get the most out of it. And that's the important part, that we want to make sure that you get the most out of this convention. So Brian is in Bloomington, Minnesota, living there with his wife, Debbie. Is she here? She was. Oh, she was the doorstop. She ran away. So Brian started calling in 2009. So it's been 6 years now, come up 6 years now. And he actually is also a recording artist with Cheyenne Records and Goldwing Records. His first convention was in 2011 in Las Vegas, and this is his third. So this is my 15th. So he remembers much more to be in your position than I do, which is one of the things that we are very grateful for him for agreeing to do this session. And one of the things, I'll mention it later, and it's in your program, but we have an auction tomorrow night to help with our foundation. And Brian has, as part of his day job, I assume it's what he does, he has very generously donated a website. You could have your own website. And Brian has donated that, so come and bid on that, and you can have that as part of our auction. So I'm going to get Brian to particularly talk about his experiences in his first CALLERLAB convention, and we're going to do a whole bunch of housekeeping to help you really get the best out of this convention. Brian.
Thank you, Pam, very much. Okay, now, in case we do, just because we are being recorded, if you ask any questions, which actually we encourage you to, I will repeat them so that it gets... Yeah, or we can get you to come up and talk. Anyway, my name is Brian Freed. My wife Debbie is around here. You actually met her as you came in the door. And actually, this is my third convention. And I do well remember our first. And I walked into the Las Vegas, the Riviera Hotel, and I could not believe it how big it was because I'd never been to Vegas before. And then we get all registered, and it was just meeting all these people. And now some of them you knew. I mean, some of them were like Marshall Flippo or Ken Bauer or Jim Mayo or John Jones, but some of them, I met people now that I still see when we come back to these things. So, I guess my first advice to you is, I hope we got everybody who's coming, or I'm told that we have 19 first-time attendees. And I don't really know if that's more or less than normal, but we do have 19. So, you all have a little special ribbon. And it says, wear that thing with pride, because I'm telling you, we love to see you. We really do. People will come up and they will shake their hands. They will meet you. They will say hello to you. It's great that you're here. So wear that with pride. Now, you aren't going to be able to attend all the sessions. So here is the plan, okay? You got a couple of things that we can do. One of them is buy the recordings, okay? It's $25 if you pay for it before the end of the convention. You're going to get everything onto 2 CDs. They'll be on MP3 files. You can listen to it on your computer or anything that'll play in MP3. And you can catch up on stuff that, I didn't attend that session, but, I can listen to it. And going along with that MP3 is when you checked in, everybody got a little one of these. Every panelist that sent in prior to about a week ago, all of their stuff is on here. I mean, actually, your orientation stuff is on here. We have that. We have so everybody who signed or who sent in, Donna puts these things on so you can pull them off in case you don't get a handout at the session. Then you will have it here. And if you are a CALLERLAB member, actually, on the CALLERLAB website, within a couple of months, you will be able to get everything that was done, and that's in the members only area. So, and now don't be afraid to ask questions at the sessions. Yeah, no, is there a but? Okay, no. Now the question was that he had already purchased the MP3. Will it be mailed? No, actually, you can pick it up on Wednesday. Yes, they will burn them. Sometimes they do have to mail them. It depends on how many they get done, but usually they do try to get everything done, before you leave, so that you do go home with them. So yes, so don't be afraid to ask questions at the sessions. Chances are, if you have a question, how much do you want to bet somebody else in the room has it? And, I know it's a little bit, and I always start out my stuff saying, I hate to sound stupid, but, how do you, what is this? And it's not that it's stupid, but it's not stupid because you don't know the answer. So don't be afraid to, just feel free. That's what we're here for. Try to attend at least one CALLERLAB meeting. They are listed on your schedule. There are several, and I'll let Pam talk about that a little bit here when she does her housekeeping, but there are several committees that actually partners can belong to. One of them I know is you got the partners committee, but there's also the marketing committee, which actually Pam and I serve on the marketing committee. We are members of that. There's several other ones, but you can. So if you want to serve, because most of the business for CALLERLAB is done in the committee level, and then we pass it up to the board of governors, and then they, kind of vote and implement it. At the meals, try to join a table that's starting to fill but maybe isn't filled all the way, and maybe that's a little bit scary because you're eating with people that you don't know, and it's like so it's just one little trick. You can try that. It's a great way. You're here to meet some new people. You really are, and you're going to meet a lot of them because I think we have about 300 registered. Okay, and okay, now I have, let's see, I set it aside. You have an evaluation form in your packet. Please fill them out. The executive committee does read each and every one of them. They have to. It is part of their job. And actually, this is how they plan. The executive committee is the one that plans our conventions. This is how they plan, to know, well, should we have this seminar again? Do we want something new? That's how they get their information, is that they look at those, each and every one of them. If you liked someone's presentation, please let them know. It's just it's kind of nice to hear, hey, we did like it. Now, I'm going to leave. We're going to finish on this, and then I'm going to turn it over to Pam, and then we're going to see if there's any questions. Okay, one of the hardest things that you are going to have to do is you are going to have to meet some new people. Now, I think most of you met me when we were out there. That was done on, actually it was done on purpose, because it's actually the hardest thing for me to do is to meet new people. So, I want row 1, everybody's going to stand up here, okay? Now, row 1, turn and meet row 2. Row 3, turn and meet row 4. And then we got the rest of them. You guys have to meet yourself. I want you to turn, and I want you to shake hands with somebody and meet them. Okay. Now that wasn't so hard, was it? Yes. So now you just met some people that you may end up having dinner with. Um, I have. Let's see here. The one thing I wanted to add or finish on here is if I don't know if you had heard tomorrow's opening session. I am told will be outside. Oh. Oh, okay. So if you want to, I guess bring a coat. So, I guess that's it for me. I'm going to turn it over to Pam, and she's going to kind of take you the rest of the way, and then we're going to see if we have, like I said, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them.
Thanks, Brian. So, I mean, the critique sheets, I can't stress enough. I know Barry's been on the executive committee for several years, and he's been chairman for 2 years. And they do. One of the first things that happens when the home office staff gets back to the home office is that Dana scans all the critique sheets and sends them out to the whole executive committee, and they read every single word. They also listen to all of the recordings. They are required to do that before the spring executive committee meeting, which is usually May or June. So they're a little busy after the convention. But that is how they plan the next year's convention. They look at the critique sheets and the responses they get from people in the sessions and decide what you liked and what you didn't like so much, and that helps them in planning next year's convention. So those critiques, and one thing that's missing in my packet, I hope you've got it in yours, there is a sheet, maybe because mine was a partner's package, I don't know, but there is a sheet, an application to join committees. Is that in? Did you get one in your packet, Brian? They made it. Maybe they're down by the registration desk, because there is a sheet available that is an application to join a committee, and that is one of the things we encourage everybody to do. 95% of the work at CALLERLAB is done in the committees, and most of that work these days is done via email. So but that is where you get your say in what goes on. CALLERLAB is a democratic organization. It is, run by its members, and we all get our say and do what we want. And on the committee, the sheet to join a committee, it does tell you which ones you can see by there's asterisks or something. It lets you know which ones partners can join. And the marketing committee, I can't think of them all off the top of my head because I don't have it right. I thought I was going to have the sheet and I didn't write it down. Anyway, there are various committees. Obviously, partners cannot join the mainstream or the plus committee if they're not calling. I mean, that just makes sense. But many of the other committees, even the definitions, I'm a member of the definitions committee. If you're interested in the technical aspects of things and wants that, there's something that you can do. Please definitely speak up. As Brian said, in the sessions, ask your questions, present your comments. In the committee meetings, whatever interests you, there's sort of something for everybody. We've got people here. There are three. I think one of them won't be here till Tuesday, but certainly tomorrow morning in the meeting, you will meet. There are two people here who have been to every single convention. This will be their 42nd. Jim Mayo and John Jones. And you'll see them around. Talk to them. They love to talk to new people. We all do. You're the future. Those of us have been, like I said, this is my 15th convention. So we've been around a while, and we want fresh ideas and new ideas. So we want people to join. And so introduce yourself to people. During the morning and afternoon sessions, you'll notice there are coffee breaks. And that is an unbelievably wonderful time for networking, as they say, but just talking to people, getting to know new people, sharing ideas, because we are all in different parts of the world. I'm Canadian, and people from all over the United States, people from other parts of the world are here. There are people here from Japan, from Germany, from England, from Switzerland that I've seen so far. There may be some others that I haven't seen yet, but there are people from all those places. So you can find out all, again, networking, getting ideas for things you want to do and all the rest of it. It's wonderful. There's a couple other things. We have two sets of what we call informals. One is for well, each one has two versions, so you can go to either one. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter, whatever fits your schedule. There are Board of Governors informals. In this case, in one of the boardrooms, wherever it is, two Board of Governors members are sitting there. You are welcome to come in if you're interested in running for the board, if you want to find out what the board does, if you have something you think that should be brought to the board, that should be brought to people's attention, just go in and chat with them. That's what they're there for. And they will bring that information back to the board meeting. The board is meeting, well, they will be this evening, and we're this afternoon, and then they will Wednesday. They stay Wednesday after the convention and have the second half of the board meeting, because the board meets face-to-face once a year at the convention. So they will discuss whatever you bring to them. And, so this is a way to get your ideas forward quickly. The other one is caller coach informals. So if you've ever thought of becoming a caller coach, if you're mentoring other callers, if you're working with other callers, again, two members of the caller coach committee who are accredited CALLERLAB caller coaches will be in each of these sessions, and you can bring any questions you have to them, anything like that. Brian has mentioned partners on committee and the critique sheet. You've got your mini schedules here. You've got the full direction. This is your Bible for the convention. This is your Bible. This tells you every session, what's on, descriptions of it, who's there, where it is, when it is. And if you're here with your partner and there's something that you want to attend, you may split up and attend different things. If there's two things you really want to see or want to attend at one time, and you can't, obviously, buy the recordings. The $25 value, by the way, they used to be $189 to buy them all. And finally, the people who make our recordings, they made an arrangement with the Home Office, and the Home Office burns the CDs. So that's what's saving us, and why you can only as a CALLERLAB member do you get them for $25. Non-members, we charge $75. So anyway, if you can't go to, you want to go to two things at once, go to the one that you think will be more visual. If you think they're going to have a square up doing something, if there's something where you think it will be more visual, attend that one, because you can listen to the other one. So this is the kind of thing that can help you, when you have to make those tough choices, because you can get the recordings. And like I say, you've got mini schedules here. You've got the things for Monday and Tuesday night. There is a little map showing where the board, though you're probably finding those around. You'll see us all wearing all kinds of ribbons. Well, the ones you want to look out for are the red ones. The red ones are for Board of Governors members, Executive Committee members, Chairman, and past Chairman. So those are the guys that know stuff, and they can answer your questions. The other one you might want to look out for, it's sort of a pale blue, and obviously I don't have one. Anyway, our milestone recipients. Milestone Award, I don't know if there's one being giving out this year or not. It isn't given out every year, but it is the highest award CALLERLAB can give. And it's to people who have really made a mark on square dancing. So they are always worth talking to. And I think it's pale yellow. I'm losing my track here. Yeah, is our life members who've done a ton of work for CALLERLAB. So they're called gold card members, and they are like CALLERLAB life members. So you'll see them around, and they're wonderful people to talk to, and they always want to meet all the newer people that are here for the first time. We were all here for the first time at once. Like I say, some of us are just so long ago that we're so indoctrinated. We go home. We still, every year, we go home from this convention so excited and so jazzed about doing things and getting involved with things at home to do with square dancing. It's just a wonderful thing, and we're so glad you're all taking part in it and enjoying us. So that's... Oh, and the other, I think they put it on the back of direction, but it's sort of a silly thing that started with CALLERLAB years ago. Your badge is your proof of admission. And the hotel staff, they say, has been told to look for them at meals. I don't know how much they do, but you'll hear this mantra around, no badge, no food, no exceptions. Well, you'll hear people chanting it, but anyway, I don't know if it matters or not. I don't know if that's happened. I hope any of you who have special meal requirements have spoken to the Home Office about this on your registration, so that they're wonderful about dealing with this. They have, I think it's sort of a purpley thing. The Home Office staff have a purple banner that's the thing that says Home Office, and the gang they've got to help out are just amazing. So if you have any questions, feel free to talk to any of them. You saw them at registration, and they're running around, and you'll see them, and they are just, we can't say enough about what they do for the organization, because they're not paid. Well, there are some volunteers helping, but even Dana Shermer and Donna aren't paid nearly enough for what they do. It's just a minor stipend. They just work so hard for this organization. So thank them when you see them, and but also feel free. They know everything. Tomorrow night we are having an auction, which will help the CALLERLAB Foundation. Please come. It's always a lot of fun. There's lots of fun. The Jones gang. There's our incoming chair, Vernon Jones. He will be taking over on Wednesday. He will also be one of the auctioneers tomorrow night. He and his dad share the duties of being the auctioneer, and it's always loads of fun. They keep things moving along quickly, and the bidding sometimes can get fast and furious. There's lots of wonderful things. There's some hard items that you can get. There's some jewelry, there's an Afghan, there's some historical items. There's also collar schools. Some of the callers who run collar schools have offered them up for the auction. Recording music packages. Some of the recording companies have offered their music packages. There's a chance to become a recording artist. Brian has generously donated a website, as I said, and you can get a caricature of yourself. Unfortunately, Corbin can't be here this year, but he draws wonderful caricatures. Lots of other things. So we think we've got pretty good selection of items. So come on out. It's loads of fun. And then there is I think the Zesty Contras tomorrow night after the auction. Clark does the Zesty Contra, so if you're interested in contra dancing, that's always lots of fun too. And then Tuesday night, there's a dance of some kind. I don't know what, but there's always something. Country Western dance tomorrow night. There's also, you'll see, yes, that's always a great dance. After the formal sessions in the afternoons, you'll see sometimes birds of a feather. These are things for just people, interested in one topic or something. Like I remember one of the first ones I remember attending was on alternative music. This is back years ago before anybody started really using alternative music, and it was an amazing session, and it became something else later. So there's just so much going on. Budget your time. Be prepared to go home very tired, but very happy and very excited. So does anybody have any questions? Brian, do you have anything else to add?
I forgot to do this. Dana did send out an email. It was also on Facebook, on the CALLERLAB Facebook page. By the way, if you are on Facebook and you do not know, CALLERLAB does have a Facebook page. Just search CALLERLAB and find it and like it, and you get lots of information. We have a mobile app with the whole schedule. And if you want, I can tell you where to find it. If you did not get the email, it's on something called Guidebook, and it's a free app. And I programmed my stuff yesterday in the car going down because I didn't have to drive at all. And so I programmed everything that I'm doing in here, and it sends me little notifications. Half an hour before the event. So, yes, it works on both. It works on both iPhones and Androids. So I guess that is. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
This is Oz. I'm from Silicon Valley. How late does the Wednesday session go?
The aim is to be finished before noon, but usually it's well before that, around 11 o'clock or so. I believe there is one item to be voted on this year. So those of you who are callers and are members of CALLERLAB, you should have got your pink vote card in your packet. I obviously don't have one because I'm not a caller. Make sure you bring that to the Wednesday morning meeting, because they use those. That's how you vote on Wednesday. So I believe there is a bylaw change or something. It's a minor. I believe it's not a great crucial thing. It's fairly minor, but there is something to vote on, and people can bring things up from the floor. So, but that is our formal business meeting, is Wednesday morning. Tomorrow morning tomorrow morning we are out. Yeah, you go outside. I forget which way, but it's in another building. So that's why you need to bring a jacket. And it's the opening session. People will be acknowledged. The new members of the Board of Governors will be sworn in. But then we're having a brainstorming session because, we all are worried about square dancing and want to keep it going. So it's trying to collect everybody's ideas. So they've got plans I've been hearing about this for months, but they've got plans to get everybody's ideas and collect things and go on. So please come tomorrow morning. And yes, on Wednesday, it definitely is finished before noon, but often it's around 11 or so that they finish. They try and move it along pretty quickly. So, any other questions?
Thank you. Brian said earlier in his, Judy Tumbleson, and I'm from Topeka, Kansas. Brian mentioned that we should try to attend, I thought he said CALLERLAB sessions. How is that different than anything else on the schedule? I don't know the difference.
He was just using the formal title.
And I'm sorry if I said calling website. Try to attend one of the committee meetings. Okay, whether it be marketing, and we should have gotten a list. And I'm sorry, but there is a list actually at the home office at the front table. They can give you a list, and all of the committees are listed in. Every committee has a meeting during this session, during this convention. So, and they are all listed, and usually they're staggered.
Like tomorrow morning, it says organizational welcome and planning meeting. Is that one of them? Tomorrow morning, it says organizational welcome and planning meeting. Yeah. Is that what you mean? Or the right underneath it, it says Board of Governors informal.
Yeah, Barry will be hosting that one, my husband, and it's aimed at on members of I think Roy will be there from Round a Lab, and whoever's here. There's people here from the NEC. There's people here from various of the national conventions, and. Yeah, he has loaned it to us. Yes, so we've got it for them. We'll make sure we get it back to you. And so that's basically, again, the population is smaller, so all these organizations, communication is the game, right? So work together. So if you've got ideas of how things can work together and how groups can work together and all that kind of thing, that'll be what that's about, I'm sure. And there's one of those Board of Governors informals, and you can see it's not recorded, so you can go and say whatever you want, and they will just take the appropriate notes back to the right place, but it is not recorded. Committee meetings, by the way, are also not recorded. You'll notice there's a little microphone against any of the sessions that are recorded, so you can tell which ones, when you're looking at them, which will be recorded. Does that help? Yes. Good. Any other questions? Yes, can you, I don't know if this will reach.
But if you ask, and then we can, or you can come up.
I'm Risha Schlitter from Cary, North Carolina, and I was wondering if partners are welcome to the committee meetings, and are we allowed to talk at them?
Yes, partners are. For most of the committees, there are a few that you cannot join, just because, i.e., any of the mainstream plus advanced, unless you're a caller, but like marketing, ways and means. Oh, okay. Yes, yeah.
Yes, you may attend the meeting, and yes, you may speak, even from the mainstream committee or the plus committee. You don't have a vote because you can't join the committee, but you certainly may attend, and you certainly may speak up. One of my favorites is the ARC, which is the Applications Review Committee, because people submit things and they say, is this piece of choreography accurate or not? Is it proper or improper? And we get up and we demonstrate it and we try it and we play with it, and that's just a personal favorite. The other personal favorite for me is the Visit with the Legends. These are some of the pioneers in I forget, John is one of them, I think, this year. I don't know where it is in my thing, but I think John Jones is actually one of them this time. But anyway, that's always, like I say, one that I really, John Jones, Mike Seastrom, Elmer Sheffield, and Al Stevens. I think they've all been calling for 50 years or more. And, well, I know John Jones, Mike Seastrom, and Elmer Sheffield have, and I think Al Stevens has as well, I'm pretty sure. So they can, sometimes it's sort of like war stories and stuff, but it's loads of fun. It's one of my personal favorites, and talking to them, even though I know all of these people and consider them friends, but I still love attending that session. So that's just personal. Everybody's got their own interests, of course. Definitely, even in committee meetings, if you're not a member of the committee, and this applies to everybody, not just partners. Partners are welcome anywhere. but you are welcome to speak up, say your piece, etc. But if they're doing a formal vote in the committee, which they don't often, then you have to be a member of the committee. But otherwise, no, you're more than welcome to any of them. Yes. Any other questions? Well, thank you all very much for coming. I hope we've sort of given you a little bit of information to help navigate your way through the convention. And there is a dance this evening just down the hall where the overseas callers, so you'll get a chance to dance to overseas callers and our youth callers. So please go attend, have a great time, and enjoy the dance, and enjoy your convention. Thank you so much for coming.